might be. Dave, what base skills would someone need to truly benefit from a Gloss University event?
Wow, okay.
That is an
Look
important
at
Good
that.
skills right there.
We have traditionally done more advanced classes for people that already have a baseline knowledge of how to polish or correct paint. Mainly we've been targeting exterior paint correction, wet sanding specifically, and ultimately diving into the details, the theories, the things that some of the people that I view and the things that we do, why they differentiate from maybe just a regular detailer. Not that that's a bad thing, but there's some different things that we think about or approach based on those theories, and that's typically what we've done. With that being said, we have some classes that we'll be doing moving forward. We're going to announce some classes in the upcoming few weeks where we're going to be focused on maybe not entry-level detailing currently, but a little bit more entry-level, and then leading into those classes where we have a little bit of advance. So ultimately what it'll be is an opportunity for somebody that at least has an idea of paint correction, right? You have a polisher, you understand how to do it at least on that very, very, very basic level. And we'll teach you all of those things and lead you into what it's like to start learning how to sand. So we'll spend less time on sanding and maybe dive a little bit back into the entry-level polishing. With that being said, we're gonna partner up with Jason with Detail Wise, and he's gonna contribute a lot of business type things. So for me and Jason Kilmer, our training is based on the skills and those theories. Neither one of us have high-level businesses where we provide detailing. Jason does. And I think that's where real business value comes in. I think there's a lot of people teaching training, whether it's polishing, detailing, business type stuff, but they don't actually have a business that's ever proved anything. And when you have somebody that's training that has a proven past, you can see what they've accomplished. The things that they're telling you is truth because they've implemented it. So those are the things that we're going to do. I think we'll have classes on each coast. We're going to have one being announced that actually we'll kind of give a little spoof here. We got one in Pennsylvania that will be happening. We'll announce that in a week. But we've also got some additional classes that are going to be happening down in Florida, Atlanta, Texas, and California that we still need to confirm dates for, and we'll be announcing those.
It'd be cool to have like a steam training.
Well, so if you want steam training, Buck will be there too. And we do plan on doing more things. I think there's a gap in interior.
Yeah,
like we were just talking about interiors.
Yeah.
I've been to a ton of trainings. I think everybody thinks paint is the coolest part. I think
No,
We will say that David, myself, and Eric, and Juan have all taken Kovach training.
Yeah.
And I felt stupid when I sat down in that first class and was like, oh, I did not know all of that.
When you have cool solutions, interiors are really fun.
Yeah.
I felt like a total noob too because we train everything and it's just like the people that we train and I come back and I was like, hey, so Ram, what did you do there?
Can you walk me through this again? I know I did it in class, but I don't remember.
Slower this time.
But even going back to what Dylan was saying, I mean, there's, which, you know, the IDA does help educate some people too. There's a lot of detailers that don't understand the chemicals that they're using.
Yep.
They don't understand pH as a whole.
That's actually one of the tests as the certification committee chairman here for the IDA. That's actually one of the exams. That's one of the questions on the CD exam as well as an SB on how to remove stains and knowing the pH of vehicles. You know, most people don't think about that stuff.
I do find it funny, a lot of the guys who will jump out there and trash the IDA as kind of a joke.
They're the guys who use
Also don't know, if you ask them that interior question, that trips so many of them up and they kind of go, it's not so funny now, is it?
Well, and I will tell you.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I will tell you though, the chemical portion of the exam is one of the hardest exams for people to pass.
Yep.
And myself and Clint, who's my co-chair, we have to call almost daily. We have 3 to 5 people almost every day that are on their 3rd and 4th retake of the chemical section of the CD exam. And that says something, that there's a lot of detailers that aren't paying attention enough, or they're not spending an appropriate amount of time And yet I still, every single day, it doesn't matter what group, whether it's ours, whether it's detail-wise, whether it's any of the different groups, there's always a guy. You guys using Awesome?
LA's
Pick it
totally
up,
awesome.
gallon at the dollar store. Works amazing. Cleans everything. Right, it does clean
And every
everything.
third stain hits it gets locked in
also
permanently. Yeah.
Destroys.
Just change clean.
It cleans the color too.
Yeah, remove a lot of the dye. That's helpful.
And a lot of that is those, like you say, those same guys that are using that and doing that are also the same guys that could not pass that because they don't know enough. And that's the biggest key, and that's why trainings exist. To educate yourselves.
There's
Learn.
there's such a good amount of access to information, whether it's Colossus University training, through Jason at Detail Wise, our training at the Academy. There's so much of it out there. There's no excuse not to go get it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to crap all over YouTube, but you can't be YouTube certified and everything because there's just a certain amount of, you got to get in front of an expert and actually talk to them. And so find a training in your area, or if it comes to your area, or seek out help from professionals. It's funny because that comment about like totally awesome. If you start to understand, even if we're talking about just interiors, you start to understand that chemistry. You see some of these questions posted. The guy's like, "Yeah, I've been hitting this stain just will not come out. I've hit it." And he posts a picture of it. You ask him what it is, and then what he used, and you find out that the combo he used actually set that stain. He's the reason it's not coming out now because chemically
You have
he's
to
now
understand
locked
the
that stain
pH
into there.
of the stain and know exactly what product, if it's going to be on the acid side or in the.
Plus, I think
alcohol
people are
side.
overlooking a little bit that it's a lot easier for people that are jumping in to obtain a $300 or $400 polisher versus $1,000 or $2,000 extractor or steamer. And I think people would like the opportunity to learn how to do interiors on a certain level and have the opportunity to try some of those things so that they can have their own arguments on whether steamer is better than
I
extractor.
actually
But
use, on that note quick, I use a pump sprayer with ONR
yep.
and with a shop vac. A lot of the time, like I don't have an extractor in the shop.
Yeah.
Just think there are ways you can do
There's
these
yeah.
things, and
ways.
you don't need really expensive equipment. You can do some cool stuff.
In some of the trainings that we do for Detail Warriors, we actually those are some of the questions that people ask. Like, well, what if I don't have this product, or what if I don't have this machine? Yes, I know you can get those machines, but this is a way that you can do it without having those equipment. But if you can get yourself into those equipment, it's just gonna make your life a lot easier and more profitable and faster. So
Well, I guarantee you that everybody here that's run or had a detailing business at some point or still does, when they started, I don't think you had a steamer or an extractor.
Or maybe you left it in an unheated part and it froze and cracked.
There's that too.
Actually, well, I think when I started detailing it, and well, when I first started detailing, like in
1962.
2000 or something like that, it was with Rennie.
Yeah.
Rennie Doyle, and actually he was the one that actually introduced me to steam cleaning. I was like, wow. So ever since then, I've been a firm believer of the steam cleaner.
It's like when the VX was baller.
Mike's sitting here like,
Now
are you
we
gonna answer my
actually
question or no?
now we actually use Vaporza from Guadalajara.
It benefit a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but if you're looking for something specific, reach out through the website or info@Gloss University, and we can either answer your question on where we might cover some of those things or suggest another trainer that would. We're going to do a lot of training with other trainers. Like, a lot of people up here are training, and our goal is to offer experts in those specific things to be guests and train on those things, along with the fact that, Gloss University isn't an Oberk class. I mean, you're going to see when we launch some of the classes coming up. Obviously, I represent Oberk and everything, but we're going to have some pretty cool brands that offer high quality products that we're going to share and be offering with our trainings as well, because it's not about the product. We want to use products that we stand behind, that we think is at a high level of quality where we're willing to recommend them or share them in our class, but it's really about the process and the procedures and helping that detailer implement those things in whatever they're doing.
I've been to training classes. I'm still going to trainings, and sometimes, when I go to trainings, it's not because I don't know what I'm doing or I'm gonna be like, I already know what they're teaching. It's more like to reinforce, am I doing it correctly? And like, oh yeah, so that's the way they're doing it, and that's the way I'm doing it. It's a reinforcement, to know that you're actually doing things correctly.
Or see a different way of doing it.
Yeah, see a different way.
Different ways to do
There's
it
not
too,
always
so-
one answer to every
No,
problem, right?
no.